Before Fame presents.
Iain Patric Smith. I feel like I forgot my name for a second there.
That's all right. We're up for a conversation.
Okay.
Can you tell us about your upbringing and how it influenced your journey into acting?
Yeah. Mine's I feel different. I didn't really get raised in the arts. I'm an Army brat. I was born in North Carolina. I'm a twin with my sister, and both parents are Army. So we moved overseas for about 11 years. We lived in Israel, Belgium, Rome. And then after that, we moved to Texas for 8 years. So I was always kind of moving around. So I didn't really have much to fully cling on to because it was all over the place. So I think the thing that I did cling on to was, and this is going to sound so like, oh, artsy, this kid, but like film. I watched movies. And also I'm like the prime generation for Harry Potter, Spider-Man, like all that kind of stuff. I'm the prime generation of that. So when I had movies, I could look forward to the next Harry Potter film. When I moved to the next location, I had like so much to look forward to and go into that specific movies.
Almost like the last great hurrah of films before current 2020's constant flop.
Yeah, I'd say it's the beginning of the end. I would say, or the beginning of obviously franchise filmmaking, because there was a whole thing about it, in obviously before, in the 1900s, if you want to say, of bringing stuff back. But this, I think, was the first time that you could see people were like, oh, you can keep it going. But it was the beginning of it, so like Harry Potter was to kind of bring in that new age of everything. I think Harry Potter's way bigger than people thought it was. And it is big, but like the effect of it and really kind of like it still impacts us with today. But then obviously get the Marvel stuff and everything. But like for me personally, it was just like Harry Potter, Spider-Man, the Star Wars prequels, all that kind of stuff. I'm the prime audience for that. So as I started moving into what do I want to do with the future, I don't think I ever thought of anything else, if I'm honest. I think it was always like kind of a part of that. And that's also when I started to explore outside of like the franchises. So I started watching other films. Scorsese became of interest. Nolan, obviously, since like, I think he's the prime filmmaker of our generation for people like my age. So yeah, kind of like move forward with it.
But of that grouping of franchises and popular directors from back then that are still striving for film nowadays, what would you say was the film or the actor or the director that really pushed you into going into this and saying this is a career?
Christian Bale. Like, going back with he was someone that always wove, I wouldn't say actually always, because he only really did it once or twice, but he weaves in between the genres incredibly well in his performance. I think he was the first actor who I knew his name, if I remember. It was like that and like Brendan Fraser, because the Mummy movies were big for me when I was a kid. So like that was a big one for me. And once you start to look outside of these franchises and see what he did in his career with like The Machinist, like that was mind-boggling to me. So the building blocks of acting really, I think, stem from where he came from and his commitment to it. And then I think he's still doing great work. He hasn't stopped. And that's, for me as an actor, I want to be able to not stop, keep on going. So.
Did you go to school for acting, or did you take any workshops, or YouTube University?
I like YouTube University. A mix. I did go to school. I went to college. I went to an amazing school, Savannah College of Art and Design. Amazing. I got my film BFA there, but it was a lot of, I think. I made a lot of short film stuff in high school, and so I think it was more so. School gave me the. Being terrible at answering this question, but in high school, YouTube and doing it yourself and finding it and failing it and then finding it again was, I think, the feeling of film. I knew the knowledge of it, but then school gave me the language of it. And that's where I started to know how to talk about it and what to do with it. So it was kind of a mix of both, and I'm obviously very thankful for all. And then since I've left school, I've done workshops, I've done plays. But again, I still think the best learning is doing it. So being on set, doing a play. I mean, in play specific for acting wise, I think theater is where you learn the most outside of even from a class. I think that is just because it's just nonstop. It's there. You have to focus on everything. You have to know everything, and that's where you get the best training. And then same thing with a set. You learn the best when you're on set.
What was your first professional role that someone handed you a check afterwards and was happy with your performance?
Do you want to go outside of background? Because background is like, yeah. Anyway, background-wise, I did a film, The Glorias. It was like about Gloria Steinberg, but yeah, background. That's the film I got to check. God, what was it called? Because they changed the name like 3 times after. I'm gonna call it from when I was working on it. It's called like The Isles of March, and it was a day player scene, and the main character is a teacher, and she was kind of asking everybody in the class like a question, and I'm the one that was like, hey, well, what about this? What about this? And I was there for a day, and I mean, emotionally, I think for me, it's kind of living the dream. People are like, do you want water? Do you want this? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then like, you're in front of lights and a camera. So it's awesome. It's the dream. I then got really nervous when they said action. It's the first time on a big set with everyone there, but no, it was amazing. And I'm still friends with the other day player there. And it was a lovely experience. Stressful, but it definitely was a reminder of, yeah, this is it. I mean, I called the casting director, who I know, after, and was like, thank you for helping me out. This is amazing. The best time. This is why I'm here. And yeah.
So comparing that, your first experience, what would you define as a big break in your career? Because everybody, has that big break moment, but what would you define your big break as? Would it be something in the directing role? Would it be acting?
Well, big break is obviously, I think, is subjective. Mm-hmm. So I'll go with my version of it. I kind of qualify or hope to qualify a big break as a learning point, or the point you're like, oh, I actually know what I'm talking about in this situation. So, I mean, as a filmmaker, as an actor, it's cool if I separate it with the stories.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker was when I directed my film Penitence, which is the one in the festivals. That was the first time I was on set creatively with the knowledge of film school, like the language of it, what I was saying. So like I knew what a shot list was. I knew like all of this stuff, and I had a story that I really, really believed in. And it's, if I may, I don't want to like market something else, but it's about a cop who finds out his brother's a child murderer. And it's the dilemma of that. And so I'm dealing with a really heavy subject, but it was so light on set, and it was so welcoming. We had the best time on these couple of days of shooting this. And as a person, my big break was, oh my God, people are asking me questions. I'm doing this. And then when we finished, I had people saying, this is the best that they've been on. And it was like run super well. And so my brain's like, wait, I can do that? So it was a big break of I'm valid in what I want here. And people can see that, and I can welcome that. And that's a big thing for me. As an actor, I just did this summer A Streetcar Named Desire on stage. And I played Stanley Kowalski, which is a very heavy role, but also to me as like a film person, that's when that role is what changed acting with Marlon Brando when he came in. So I had like 100, I put just weight on me. I was like, well, this is heavy, this is tough, I'm terrified, what am I gonna do? All of that. And a big break, I did it. It was my first play, and I did it, and I brought a lot of myself into it, which is a terrible thing to say, you're Stanley Kowalski, but no, I brought a lot of myself to it. And I had people come up to me and say like they sympathized with me more than the other characters, which is a crazy thing to say, but I put like a lot of work into that, and it was probably one of the most proud moments of it. And it was also like the first time I got to show a lot of people my acting, and I got to show my girlfriend, who I was so stressed about with that. And especially the first time she saw me just expel energy as a performer. And my mother and father, who have been so supportive, have been tricky with that, but really supportive, seeing what I can do. And that was a big break for me.
We're talking about the highs of your career. Why don't we take a moment and talk about the struggles and the lows of your career? I mean, you mentioned your parents and tumultuous with that. Would you like to expand on that?
It's the same as most parents. Parents want you to have security and safety. That's it. And so when you tell people that aren't in the arts and don't understand it, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go and try a job that is, you get a call and like, oh, okay, now I have a job, and like it's paycheck to paycheck. It's gonna be great. They're military. They're obviously gonna be a little bit skeptical, and so we had some, there's a learning curve with that we had to do, and that was really hard for me. But no, they have been since that so incredibly encouraging, and no, they've been so wonderful with it, and yeah, I mean the play was a big thing for me with that.
So this is a interesting question to ask someone like you with your background, but have you experienced typecasting or expectations based on your looks?
Yeah, a little bit more in college, but yeah, I get I get jock, which is kind of funny, because I was bullied in high school. I was bullied by jocks. Like, that's kind of weird. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm playing them. Okay, whatever. And I'll get like rich butthead, I guess. But I mean, I'm okay with it. If it gives me a job, I could do it, and I could show more with it. So I'm fine with that.
But that mentality of it's fine, I guess, have you gotten a role other than, the theater, but do you mostly work in roles where you have that mentality of it is a check, or do you have a lot of this is the life moments?
Life. And by check, it's just more so me just, food on the table, but no, I mean, I anything to get me in front of it. And anyone to get me with a scene partner, anyone to get me with on a set, anything to get me on stage, anything like that, anything to get me to act, I'm fine with, and that's totally okay with me. I mean, that's my life is in pursuit of perfection with acting, but like I'm not going to attain that, knowing that, but you're going to keep on pursuing it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for that perfect role, and that's that perfect character.
So going through SCAD, did you find mentors within that program, or are you continuously finding mentors throughout your life, or have you never had a mentor?
I've had people that mentors. I could really use like a teacher as a mentor, but I've had people that have seen something in me and helped me out. But honestly, for me, it's my girlfriend and friends. Like for me, I take a lot of solace, and I think I'm using the word incorrectly actually. Anyways, I look a lot towards the people around me more so, and I want to say mentorship, but I want to say confidence in who I am and what I'm doing. So my girlfriend has seen the most of it. She has been there when I have struggled and put myself down, and that's I think when you need a mentor. But instead, I have the best people in the world as well. And so she's like picked me up. I remember crying one day on the way home from the Streetcar Named Desire. Like I was dealing with a lot with that role, and I remember crying on the way home, and she's helped me out with that. I mean, I had to play I sound amazing. I had to play a school shooter in one film. I swear I'm a good person. But I had to play a school shooter once, and I remember one of my best friends helped lift me up with that. So I think I mentorship, obviously with classes and teachers, but I think I've gone outside of that with the people around me.
We've talked a lot about the industry evolving. How do you see the landscape changing for actors like ourselves? With AI, with vertical shorts, with no defined location for the industry is going to be picking back up with LA. dealing with this situation and the taxes in New York and LA, and the industry leaving Atlanta a bit, and places popping up all over the U.S. Where do you see yourself and your career in the middle of that?
Hold really quick. Do you hear that?
What did you do?
Do you wanna cut or just wait for it to pass?
No, I'm gonna just hold. God, I'm filming.
Honestly though, audio's been great so far. I mean, we have so much stuff to cut around. Like I moved
I think
the
you're
pole.
good. I think you should start back. I think you're good.
Go for it.
Oh, sorry. Same question.
Repeat your question.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
Okay. So with the industry changing so much, with situations like the strikes that had happened, industry leaving Atlanta, industry popping up all over the U.S., AI coming for jobs, where do you see your career evolving within that?
I think we've been seeing it, but I think it's now more time to do it. To create your own stuff. Building out your career yourself. With AI being in the picture, we're gonna start trying to see. I think people are gonna want to see more. Oh, that's real, kind of stories. But in the scary sense, or in the negative sense more so, I think because to a lot of people AI is new, they're not gonna go after. Hollywood's not gonna go after many new people because if we have the same face, people know that's the same person. Like we know that's Leonardo DiCaprio's face, so it's probably Leonardo DiCaprio. They're not gonna go, if I get cast in something, they're gonna be like, that's a new face, I don't know who that is. And so they're gonna try and keep it more secure in their little club. But that's why I think we're about to start seeing a huge. That's why I think while I did say the thing about the indie a second ago, I do think we're about to have another age of the indie because we're now wanting to see some more human, original, and more personal projects. And I think for me, it's the time to make something. It's the time to just grit your teeth, grab your buddies, and go make something that you just believe in. And I think that's what the time is now.
Where do you see your career in 5 years? You know, what's your ultimate goal as an actor, as a director, as a writer?
I think I said this a second ago. I'm the next Bradley Cooper. Like that's the plan. I'm going to go out there and write, direct, and act. In 5 years, I'll be doing the same thing. I don't really see that huge of a change. I mean, I see this huge situation, and I'm doing it more so than I am now because I like to keep on progressing. Hopefully, being able to do it without having to do other jobs or anything else. Obviously, the dream of the beginner. But yeah, I mean, it's that. I'm planning on being happy making the stuff I want to make, me and the people I want to meet. I'm hoping to get a bump in the career to also start working with the people that I want to meet and want to work with. I want to shake hands with Coleman Domingo. I want to shake hands with Coleman Domingo and say, okay, let's do this, and then they say action. That's what I want. I want to work, and I want to work with people that inspire me. I want the people to work that I can challenge me to myself get better.
Do you have any upcoming projects that we should be looking out for, or where can we follow you on your journey? You know, any social media?
Yeah, well, me and my lovely girlfriend are about to do a short film together, which I'm incredibly excited about. We haven't worked together. We've obviously done auditions together, but we're going to actually work together. Very excited about that. We got that, and then another one coming up in May between us. I have a film called Florida Man that I'm going to start shooting in June, I think, around that time. The schedule's up everywhere, up all over the place. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm writing, so you'll be seeing my name soon everywhere. But no, I'm really proud of what's coming up, and I got some things I'm really excited coming out. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, that's still a thing. Did I say Instagram? I think, whatever, that, Facebook, yeah.
What advice would you give someone else, you know, in a similar position as you, but, you know, younger within this industry?
It's weird giving advice. Kind of, it's just like, because you realize, like, I'm in a position where I can tell people, like, hey, like, let me help you out with this. Even though I don't think I'm that high up, but I still think it'd be helpful. Why am I doing that? We have an instinct that when we watch something to be like that. And I absolutely do. I'm looking at the camera for this, for you out there. I really do. I have an instinct to want to copy and be that person. But that's done. And that's great what they did, but we don't want to see that again. What we haven't seen is you. Be yourself. That is what's original, and original is awesome. And that's what I would say.